Hello, class. I'm not your friend today, I'm your teacher. It's me, Professor Abid, brought to you by the Boxers and Briefs podcast network. Today, we have class edition. We're gonna talk about two things today. We're gonna talk about storylines. Okay, what are they? How do they impact the fight? Examples. Okay, class? And then we're gonna get to the topic of incompetence. Incompetence is a topic I love to rant about, so this will be a great one. But I'm the teacher, I make the rules, you're gonna have to sit through some boxing first, okay? I dismiss you, not the bell. Anyway, class, storylines. What are storylines? Now, to answer that, we need to first talk about what a fight fan is. A fight fan is someone that loves trash television, okay? Loves gossip, loves all of that, but he's too manly to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. He's too manly to watch X on the Beach. He's too manly to watch Love Island. Here's the thing, okay? I love all those shows. I watch them a lot because I love gossip. I love drama. I love boxing because that's basically what it is. It's 90% drama, 10% dudes punching each other in the face with a level of technique that I enjoy. That's what storylines are. It's all the drama that goes into the fight. It's all the backstory. It's all, he was my trading partner, but then he stole my moves, or he disrespected me that one time, or he stole my coach, he stole my girl, you know, all that stupid shit. Okay? And basically, how do they impact the fight, guys? Storylines are what hype up the fight in the first place. Okay? So, example, Conor versus Khabib. There was so much hatred there. Conor was talking shit about Khabib. Khabib was talking shit about Conor. Okay? That's what hyped up the fight. That's the storyline. But what I really wanted to talk about is three distinct examples that happened recently. Okay? We're gonna talk about Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell. We're gonna talk about Khabib versus Poirier. And we're gonna talk about Fury versus Valine. Okay? Now, you'll notice if you are an astute listener, okay, and a good student, that the first and last examples that I said were boxing matches. Well done, Bold Star. Okay? The one in the middle is an MMA fight. Now, why did I bring two different sports into this? Because I wanted to highlight the hypocrisy of the boxing fan. First of all, the storyline going into Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell. Lomachenko, already probably an all-time great, you know, he's conquered 3 weight divisions in 13 fights. He's lost once to someone that basically cheated. They missed weight, they were dirty in the ring. People look at him and they see a level of skill that has really never been seen in the sport. So Lomachenko is basically just seen as, like, if not the number 1 pound for pound guy, the number 2 pound for pound guy, and there's no discussion. You know, he's in the top 3 for sure. In comes Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell, for that weight class, is huge. He's a southpaw, which is always difficult. Okay? And he's a very slick boxer. The storyline going into that fight was not that Luke Campbell is actually someone that can give Lomachenko trouble. It was, Luke Campbell, who the fuck is this guy? And it's like, you should know who the fuck this guy is because he's amazing. Lomachenko beats him quite clearly in a tough fight, but clear decision for Lomachenko, right? People are like, he got exposed. Why are they saying that? Because the storyline going into the fight was that Luke Campbell was not his equal. So when you have a tough fight against someone that's supposedly not your equal, even though he's probably the best lightweight not named Lomachenko, then it'll affect how people see the outcome of the fight. Now, to contrast that with Khabib versus Poirier, Poirier came in as someone that was incredibly hyped. It's just like, he could actually give Khabib trouble. If he lands on the feet, Khabib is done, you know. That fight also ended up being a very clear win for Khabib. But what happened afterwards is that Poirier got praise. So basically, someone who's looked at as someone amazing gets embarrassed, okay, doesn't put up that much of a fight. I watched the fight, like, honestly, he didn't. He wobbled Habib possibly in the second round, but really nothing else. You know, there was nothing to worry about on Habib's side. But because he came in as a juggernaut, and because he came in with people like hyped on him and high on him, and people had gotten to know him and they saw that he was a nice guy because of the storylines going in, right? He was kind of given, not a free pass, but it was just like, oh no, he's still one of the best in the world, but Habib is just so much better. Which is kind of, it doesn't gel with what happened with Lomachenko and Campbell, because Lomachenko and Campbell, like, we knew Campbell was good, but the storyline going into it was Lomachenko's gonna blow him out of the water. Which, even though Campbell put up a great effort, right, it didn't give him the praise that Poirier got. And then, just to emphasize this point, right, the third example I wanted to talk about is Fury versus Wallin, right? Fury versus Otto Wallin, or Wallin, or however the fuck you say his name. This fight was very much just seen as a tune-up for Tyson Fury. It's just a fight, you know, to keep him active until he fights Deontay Wilder again. But, turns out, Otto Wallin, or Wallin, or whatever, is no Tom Schwartz, and he wasn't there to get KO'd in 2 rounds. He was there to actually fight. He cut Fury in like the 3rd round, massive, ridiculous cut, okay? Throughout the fight, he's constantly taking it to Fury, and Fury edges him out in a good, clear decision, but it was a very competitive fight, and it was a fight that honestly was much better than people expected. But because of the storyline going in that, Fury's the best heavyweight, who the fuck is this guy Otto? Because going into the fight, he didn't get any props. Leaving the fight, he barely got any props. And it's just like, to find people saying, we need to commend Otto Wallin for actually putting forth a great effort. It's so hard. And here's the thing, at heavyweight, one punch changes everything. And one punch did change everything. He cut Fury, and that's what made the fight so much harder for Fury. But the fact that the storyline going into the fight was not that, he didn't get the credit, which sucks for him, to be honest. I really think that he should probably be ranked in the top 10, or at least he should face a top 10 ranked opponent, maybe a lower top 10 guy. He might actually do pretty well. Like, I think the effort he put against Fury was great. I think Fury showed that he can fight under adversity. Like, I think the storylines disrupt what we saw because it already gives us a preconceived notion. So class, recap, storylines. It's for people that love drama, okay, which is all boxing fans. They love drama, they love to gossip, they love all that shit, right? And it changes your view of the fight. So what do, class? We look at the fight objectively. We enjoy the storyline, but we don't let it taint the fight, okay? Okay, moving on, class. I've always wanted to do this. Incompetence. What is incompetence? Incompetence is when you don't do your job right. It's when you don't know how to do your job right. It's when you get a job that you really shouldn't have in the first place and you fuck it up. Now, many of you of Jordanian origin might know what Abdul means. Okay, but I'm gonna explain it anyway. Jordan, for the past 100 years at this point, has been trying to install a rapid bus transit system. Now, because they've designed the system so poorly, in a lot of areas, they need to have a flyover. Okay? So, what is a flyover, you might ask? It's a raised bridge for vehicles. Now, recently, they were installing bits of this bridge when it suddenly collapsed. Okay? And people are like, how did it collapse? Buses weren't even on it. Like, this is so stupid. Here's the thing, guys. No one was really looking at the crux of the issue. Okay? A lot of people came out and said, there was an error in the installation. No, sir, there was not. We're gonna go through this from a structural engineering point of view, and I will prove unequivocally that it was not an error by the engineering team on site. It was an error by the person that built the beams in the first place. So, you may be wondering, why build the beams off-site, bring them on-site, and put them in? The engineer's job is to be as lazy as possible. So, what they did here is they did something called prefabrication, where you build the components off-site and then you bring them on-site and you slot them in like Legos. Nice and easy, nice and cheap, it's great, okay? It's great from an engineering point of view. Now that the backstory is out the way, let's get to the drawing, shall we, class? Now all these brown bits are the structural components. You have these two columns, okay? Fixed at the ground, obviously. Then you have this precast beam that had been already installed, this precast beam that is being installed, right? The blue lines represent the crane, and the purple lines represent the forces. So, these purple lines over here represent the self-weight of the beam, and then these lines over here should be equal to, okay, 1/2 of this, right? Half goes here, half goes here. That's how you carry things. Makes sense, yes? But after watching the tape multiple times, here's what happens. It fails in the middle, meaning the beam itself could not carry its own weight. It was not a problem with the installation, it was a problem with the morons that designed and built this beam in the first place. So, what does that call into question? All the work they've done so far, because they clearly have not tested their beams. In conclusion, don't use the rapid bus transit system, even when it gets up and running. Who knows what's gonna happen? See you next week for Math 101.